Greetings and welcome to the Mount Rushmore podcast. My name is Jeff, and I'm joined as always by my good buddies Richard
Hello.
and Michael.
Howdy.
Richard and Michael debate and deliberate the most ubiquitous aspects of a variety of aspects. They debate.
And the aspects. We debate the aspects.
Yeah. All of our picks are ass picks, if you really get down to it.
They debate aspic, which is like think some kind of food.
Just donkeys. Just
donkeys. Well, this time around, we're talking about the Mount Rushmore of a limited run food items, mostly fast food items. Yeah, and this is my pick, and I chose it because sometimes I'll be in a fast food drive-through. And I'm always in a fast food drive-thru, and there is some kind of enticing, brand new, crazy flavor, or burger, or thing, or drink, or something. And I wonder, how limited is this run? Like, if I order it, will it still be available by the time I pull around to the front to actually pay for it? And sometimes these things become part of our lives forever. And sometimes they're kind of quick hits and then they're gone. So I think it's fun to talk about.
I'm gonna audible out of one of my choices right away into something.
Oh, okay, all right. Well, then I'll start
based on your selection, your mention just there. Okay.
Oh snap! We'll start with Richard Manfredi then, since Michael's redoing his list.
I know Michael is as we speak. There's whiteout being applied.
The player to be named later needs to be named.
So my first choice, I think the most ubiquitous choice, the one that I think probably most of you listening thought of when you heard this topic, was the McDonald's McRib.
Also on my list.
Yeah.
It's a classic. Certainly something that I've never tried.
Oh,
me neither.
Much.
Me neither.
So how would you describe it? Is it anything like an actual rib meat?
No, of course not. It's just like ground pork pressed into the shape of ribs. I think its key interest is that it's covered in like a quasi barbecue sauce, and it looks something vaguely similar to pressed meat in a rib shape.
Right. I do appreciate that they didn't press it into like a chicken drumstick or something like that.
Yeah.
Because that would have just been confusing.
Is that the only thing that's pressed? So like a dinosaur McNugget is in the shape of a dinosaur. Other than that, the fillet of fish is not pressed into the shape of a fish. Why does it try to be meat that looks like bones? I wonder.
I mean,
or is it more for sauce containment? That's the question I would.
Yeah, I'm looking up. I'm going to look up the picture of the McRib right now.
Well, one thing.
So I have it fresh in my head.
You are fresh is not something that's associated with McRib.
No.
One thing that you bring up that I think is interesting is the novelty shapes and things of the limited time foods. And then also, I wonder if we were to look up on Wikipedia, was the McRib launched because McDonald's had a new competitor from a new barbecue chain? Like, did Arby's open, or did?
Well, it originally seemed to come out in like 1981, and I think it was just like their sandwich preparers came up with a new way of doing something, and it didn't last very long, only a couple years. But then I think what really happened was it kind of floundered around Europe like on a backpacking tour, like after college. It just went out there and just kind of had its own life and experimented a little bit and did its kind of thing, and came back to the States right in time for the 1994 Flintstones live action movie. And if there's one thing that people associate with the Flintstones, it's like Fred Flintstone getting that giant like brontosaurus ribs at the car hop.
Right.
And so I think there is a certain sense of just nostalgia and novelty in it. And I think the taking away of this thing is what really makes all these specialty fast food things like limited time. I can only get it for a certain amount of time. I don't know how long it's going to be around. Mm-hmm. It really pulls in someone who is trying to, kind of like that FOMO get it while it's
Hmm.
here aspect. Even though I'm sure most of the things on our list aren't aren't great. There's a reason they didn't stick around, right?
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, for me, the McRib is the prime example of the scarcity becoming the reason that it's popular, which
Mhm.
I think what Michael was alluding to right now. If the McRib was on the menu all the time, people wouldn't be excited to go to McDonald's and get a McRib.
Mhm.
It loses all of the pizzazz. It would just be another shitty McDonald's food item.
Now,
Uh,
Richard, you're like an H salt fish and chips guy, right?
Long John Silver's,
Long John Silver.
please,
I'm sorry.
please.
I'm sorry. Are you also a are you do you delve into the depths of the filet fish? Because that's something I've never had.
No, I don't. I actually don't get the fish at Long John Silver's. I get the chicken, which is really. I understand it's really confusing, and
What?
yeah, not a huge fan of the fish at Long John Silver's, but the chicken planks they call them.
But the
That's
KFC flounder, the flounder they have at KFC is what you go for.
the blowfish. I go with
The
the
blowfish.
blowfish. I inherently trust the chefs at Long John Silver's to properly cut the blowfish, so I do not die of poisoning.
Do you think so? I imagine that the McRib is something akin to say that wayward dad that some kids had that would kind of go off for a pack of cigarettes and be gone
Yes.
for a while. And so, in a way, it's very familiar. Or is it something that's like, let's say, love, where you fall in love, and then after a while you realize, boy, this ain't what it's cut out to be.
You know
And
what,
then,
Jeff? I have a note written down that says I wrote down it says it's like your weird brother-in-law showing up every now and then to hang out until it wears out its welcome.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, he backs up some of your stuff and leaves. Like, oh,
Like, oh, I'm so excited to see. Oh, Todd's here.
yeah.
Oh, Todd's still here.
Then you stop and realize, oh yeah, now I remember. He talks about aliens a lot. He talks about COVID and aliens a lot.
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
there's a website called the McRib Locator where you
Wow.
can uh, go onto a map or enter in your address and find if there's any McRibs that have been spotted in your local area.
We'd
So
like
it's
to
basic.
announce a new sponsor for the podcast.
Yes, it's basically like Bigfoot. McRib is the Bigfoot of
Yeah.
fast food items.
Wow. Okay. Well, I feel like we got the obvious kind of 800-pound pork gorilla out of the way, so I'm glad we did that. So, Winfield, what's your second choice?
My second choice is a Taco Bell item, and this is the one that
Oh,
I
Mm.
now you're my ballpark.
optioned into, which is the quesarito, which is basically you take a quesadilla and you wrap it up like a burrito, and it's just the same thing.
Wow.
I think we've talked about this for years. The kind of the spinning wheel of ingredients that goes into whatever they're decided to make in any given 3 month period. But I like this dumb thing that is basically just like a quesadilla that they put inside a burrito. And
Mhm.
it appears on the menu every once in a while and then it disappears. And I think that happens a lot with like Taco Bell, where there's just like something that's like, we're trying something out and then it goes away.
Yeah. I
But
talked to
you can still order it somehow.
Yeah, there was a Taco Bell guy dropped in at my gym, and I talked to him about Taco Bell the whole workout. And yeah, he was saying like part of their business model is all these crazy new things, like having a new menu item. But he did, yeah, like the Mexi Melt, I feel like it's something you can still order, even though it's not taking up real estate on the board.
Oh, you're talking about like the secret menu.
Yeah.
Yeah, like McDonald's has basically you can customize anything. Like literally, if you were to say, "Get me a McRib," but I want a hamburger patty and a hamburger bun, but I want a McRib in the middle of that as well,
They
and
do
also
that?
a fillet of fish. They will do that for you.
I didn't know they did that.
Yeah, ask for anything crazy. They'll come up with a way.
Huh.
Wow.
So yeah, I think Taco Bell probably has that same sort of like. I mean, it
Yeah.
depends. It
Yeah.
depends. I think on what the item is. Like I miss the chicken soft tacos. and I can't get
Yeah.
anyone to make them for me. My choice, I do have my second choice was also a Taco Bell item.
Great.
Okay.
It was the Taco Bell Texas Taco Sandwich, which was popular in the, I should say,
Certainly not in Texas.
popular in the mid 1990s. You may remember them when they launched it. They had a series of commercials with Jack Palance in an old west town going into a saloon, and people being so amazed by the taste of the Texas taco that they were blown right through the windows and the doors of the saloon.
I mean, that was purely built off of his
City
renaissance
Slickers.
from City Slickers, right?
Oh yeah.
Yes,
sure.
absolutely. So the Texas taco was essentially your 3 or 4 basic taco ingredients that you get in every taco, but instead of a soft tortilla or a hard tortilla, it was like a thick flatbread, and it was bigger than a regular soft taco, and it was like a thick flatbread, and so they called it a sandwich, even though you rolled it up and you ate it like a taco. I don't know why they called it a sandwich. I guess flatbread made it sound like really made it sound exotic.
Okay.
Those exotic tastes of Texas. And it had Texas taco sauce, or some Southwest sauce, which was probably just,
a combination
Thousand
of
Island.
their sauces.
Yeah, exactly. But it was really good, and that was my go-to in high school and college.
So it lasted a while.
It did last for a few years. I think it lasted like 4 or 5 years.
Well, until City Slickers 2 came out, and they killed it early. His brother, whatever it was, wasn't as much of a hit.
Yeah, the Texas Taco's brother showed up on the menu item, the Arizona Taco, and that just didn't go as well.
I don't know if we're going to depart from Taco Bell drive-through territory after this, but I will say there are some food items that say limited run that you just feel like is a limited run. They just feel like almost like Vincent van Gogh, too beautiful for this world, too sensitive for this world. Right. Or they seem like that guy, the new guy in your office who's unshaven, his shirt's kind of untucked, and you think, Bill's not going to last a week here.
Right.
Well, 5 years later, he's still going. And for me, that's the Doritos Locos taco. And I don't know if they have the sour or
They have a Cool Ranch one.
Do they have the Cool Ranch still?
Yes, I believe they do.
I'm surprised those are still there. So those have kind of worked their way into the family photo, and have become part of the mainstay, cornerstones of that menu. And this is the taco shell that's so brittle you need a paper, cardboard support system. It basically needs an iron lung to live in order to stay together. The other just stays together. So I'm really surprised those have been there for, I think it's coming on a decade now.
That's frightening. I mean, we've all lost a year or two in our memory hole of COVID. So I'm sure you're exactly right. I'm sure it came out right around when, I don't know, one of the Avengers movies came out.
Yeah.
Thor 2 came out, and you're like, oh, okay, whatever. Weird.
When did it come out? Okay. 2012. February 16th, 2012. Wow, crazy. Okay. That's crazy.
To Valentine's Day. How many horrible Valentines in 2012 were ruined by the horrible suggestion of let's go get Doritos and Locos taco.
I got you a bouquet of diarrhea. Okay, so we're at our halftime, and just want to let everybody know that this podcast is now sponsored by the McRib Locator. Go to mcriblocator.edu and just type in your social security number and also the last 4 of your Visa or MasterCard. And you will...
And the 3 digits on the back.
Oh, sorry, 3-digit security code. And then put in your phone number, and then just put in your address, but it already knows your IP address. And then you will go to a loading screen, and then you'll hit skip intro, but you won't skip the intro. It's still going. It's still going. then your computer will shut down. But don't leave. Just stay in front of that because it's going to probably pop up any minute now. And we appreciate them supporting the podcast. But if you want to support the podcast, you can download, rate, and review past episodes, and you can share us out on social. You can go to Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We've got these new audiograms that have had tens of hits.
People are eating them up like McRibs.
Yeah, yes.
Very sadly.
Very sadly. Regretfully.
Yes.
Forlornly. Okay, before we depart from that, what's the beverage that goes with McRib?
Diet Coke. Or a Coke. It's got to be the Coca-Cola.
Is it? Okay.
I would think.
It feels like that's a Dr. Pepper.
Do they have that? They have that at Mickey D's.
Yeah, they have that at Mickey D's, yeah.
Okay.
That's not bad.
No, not Dr. Pepper. It would be Mr. Pibb there, right?
No, it's Dr. Pepper. It's Dr. Pepper.
I was surprised they even have Diet Dr. Pepper there, I think.
Well, let's not get crazy, Jeff.
Sorry. Okay,
Yeah.
We're back. And I guess this would be Richard's? Or Michael's third. Michael's third.
My third choice is now, Jeff, you'll have to make a ruling on this, whether this counts as fast food or not.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But the Baskin-Robbins
31
flavors ice cream baseball nut, which only comes out during baseball season, as I understood from my experiences with my sister growing up, because this was her favorite ice cream that would come out in like the spring and disappear by the fall. And it's like a vanilla ice cream with like a raspberry swirl and like some sort of, I think, cashew or peanut sort of thing embedded within it. But this was her ice cream of choice that she would get every year. Just full stop. We'd go to Baskin-Robbins. I was always like a dumbass kid until my taste changed. And I would get like French vanilla. But she would always, so like I was fine year round. I can get stupid yellow ice cream whenever I wanted, but my sister would get it. She always clamored for this baseball nut ice cream, which would have this raspberry swirl in it and whatever. But I love the idea of a specific ice cream tied to like an event.
Sport.
I mean, baseball nut. I mean, just Richard, we talked about how great it is to get that little ice cream cone helmet full of like ice cream at the ballpark, and how like just eating junk food at the ballpark is just like such an incredible experience. Just you can go and you're just let it all hang out and you're living life and you're having ice cream. But Baskin-Robbins managed to kind of claim a season with this one particular ice cream, and that's my choice.
So it goes on strike like baseball.
Yes.
Loses popularity, and other sports and other ice creams gain popularity on it.
It also
the replacement flavor that they put in for it.
Yeah, the scab flavor, which is not what you want.
Yeah, the newer flavors based on like Slimer or like whatever are so much cooler.
And it comes with PEDs, like right in. That's what the raspberry swirl actually is. It's performance-enhancing drugs. So.
I was going to say, does it taste a little bit like Copenhagen, or something?
Yeah, and hints of skull and pine tar, I think, is what you get.
Well, that is very charming. That it's in alignment with something that is seasonal, such as baseball, too. I think that's really cool, and that your sister, that's something that your sister kind of had the kind of the sack to enjoy, that you were just like this wimpy little kid who was like, I like French vanilla.
Well, whatever it was, like we always had like this polar opposites. If she was into like a cranberry juice, I drank apple juice. She she definitely had like a berry sort of whatever around. She liked boysenberry syrup on her pancakes, like a non-boysenberry syrup.
Yeah,
mine was like a maple syrup.
Yeah. Like a normal person.
That's reasonable. You were reasonable.
Yeah, my sister, the crackpot weirdo. Dumb ice cream.
All right, Manfredi, what's your third?
My third choice is something that when I saw it come out, I thought was some sort of a joke,
Oh.
and had to be convinced that it was real. And then my oldest kid decided to continually bug me to get it because it looked so bad.
Mm.
This was the Burger King Mac and Cheetos bites.
Oh God.
If we don't remember these, they were essentially macaroni and cheese that had been deep fried, and then like a Cheetos powder sprinkled on top of the deep frying, or
Ah,
baked fried in.
Oh wow.
And it was shaped like a Cheetos too. So you still got the orange hands
Mhm.
after you ate it, but instead of a crunchy Cheeto, you got kind of a fried, overly oiled crunch, and then the, I guess, soggy macaroni inside.
you're selling it.
I can't sell it harder enough than that. That's about the best I can do, because it was. I had it once, and it was. I don't want to say it was an unpleasant experience, but yeah, it was kind of not. It was not something that I decided to go back for, and it just made me think that this is just one of those things where corporate synergy rears
Mhm.
its ugly head, where you know that the Frito Lay people came to Burger King and said, "Hey, we should work together. We've got foodstuffs, you've got foodstuffs. What if we
Mhm.
combine our foodstuffs?"
Mhm.
And instead of getting something beloved like the Doritos Taco Loco, you wound up with that turd.
Yeah.
And it just goes to show that it's like once corporate synergy and once it becomes like a. What I'm trying to say is I miss the good old days, the hipster days of fast food.
Yeah.
You know, back before the corporations got involved, back when it was just for the fans, man.
Yeah. I remember reading about the guy who convinced McDonald's after a few years to make breakfast. Like they were like, no, we're burger people. We'll never like that was a big ass thing to make breakfast.
Right.
And also I was talking to somebody the other day about this thing that I tried that was experimental. I'm from Kansas City. We took a trip to St. Louis, and we at the time had this experimental meal that they were serving at this restaurant called McDonald's called a Happy Meal.
Uh
And it
huh.
was like a big thing. But then reading that it was an outside ad agency. The madmen came up with the paper the paper box.
The little
Yeah,
cardboard box with all the games and everything in
yeah,
it.
yeah. Yeah, and that's become a beloved mainstay. But I also like, what is the cost? You know, it sounds like the National Cardiologist Association may have sponsored the Cheeto Frito or that thing, that Burger King thing, because it sounds like a heart attack in a paper um,
Yeah, no,
envelope.
I mean, the cost itself was like $2.50 for us for 5 pieces, but
Yeah,
the actual cost to the person eating it,
yeah.
no man can say
No man can say.
what the
It seems
cost is.
also
Is
like a stunt. Those things seem like a stunt, but I think the person who's not laughing, the employee who has to like learn how to make this stupid damn thing,
Yes,
and they know it's not going to last, and like, ugh, we have to come in on a Saturday early to learn how to like unthaw them and put them in the grease fryer or something like that. That's just a
it's
nightmare.
it's like the machine in the wheel in the pit of despair, where like each Cheeto you eat takes away 1 year of your life until you're just gone.
I do see these things as, in a way, being disruptors. Like
Mm.
conceptually, the mac and Cheeto thing is a disruptor. Is it good? Is it bad? It's just part of the conversation. So it's a marketing gimmick, and it changes how you feel about Burger King, right?
yeah. No,
Okay.
the one good thing that came out of this is when it was first came out in 2016, and then it was taken away, and then in 2017 they brought it back for a limited time, and they had an ad campaign with the creepy king dancing to Return of the Mac,
Okay.
which any use of Return of the Mac I
Yeah.
wholly support.
Okay. Speaking of Mac, so it seems like BK is getting into McDonald territory when you call something Mac. Um, but you can't get around it when it's part of an ingredient. But Uh, have we spoken of limited run food items that are tied with cultural stereotypes, like
Hmm.
uh,
Uh-huh.
shamrock shakes and things like that?
That's actually my last choice,
Okay.
is the Shamrock Shake.
All right. Well,
So,
then we'll do you and then do Michael.
okay. So the Shamrock Shake, once again, another McDonald's item that is highly anticipated. Much like the baseball nut, it is tied to a very specific time of year, that of course being near St. Patrick's Day. And the Shamrock Shake, I don't know what the flavor of a Shamrock Shake is.
Yeah. It's
Haven't had
not.
it.
It's
It's
Shamrock Shake flavored.
yeah. It's not mint. It's
It's
just
got
grain flavor.
it's got mint, but then
Mhm.
there's something buttery going on.
Yeah.
Mm.
Maybe there's some vanilla involved.
Hmm.
It's sort of indescribable, but
Hmm.
it's one of those things that just tastes like itself.
Yeah.
It's like one of those weird creatures that currently exists but have no known descendants. Like they have no idea what it descended from. It just
Oh,
sort of exists outside of Linnaeus's
the
order
taxonomy.
taxonomy exactly. And that's what I feel like the Shamrock Shake is. It's sort of it's a shake. It's related to the shake, related to the mint milkshake, but it's not exactly in the same family.
Yeah. I feel like McDonald's does a lot for Catholics because the fish is a Friday thing. I think it was introduced because there was no
Well,
meat on Friday.
that would be McDonald's, would be the Catholic one.
It would. Oh, Mick is the Irish.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Well, the Irish, yeah, good, yeah, no. What are you talking about? The Irish Catholic. Mick would make total sense.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, it's totally fitting within their brand to do that. At
Okay.
least for some part of Ireland, it is kind of I don't think McDonald's ever got involved in the troubles
Yeah.
No.
necessarily by
This is
picking
like
a
at a
side.
Good Friday agreement here with
See, then you get a
All right.
you have your Good Friday agreement, and then you go get a filet o fish to celebrate. Perfect.
Okay. Winfield, it's your last one.
Okay. My last one was built mostly on like memory of something that I'd seen that I had to go research, and I was 100% convinced I was in the right, but then I couldn't find it at all. But my last choice is the Halloween Whopper from
Whoa.
The
Burger King,
what?
which I was convinced was called like the dark side Whopper, as like a
All black. Was that the all black
yeah,
one?
it's like the all
Okay.
black
Oh
burger.
wow.
I was convinced it was like a Darth Vader sort of tie-in.
Hmm.
Basically, at some point, um, one of these food engineers had figured out how to like make an all black bun. Basically, it's like
Hmm.
I think it originated in Japan. It was like dyed from squid ink, but they were able to like figure out how to do it with chemicals and futz around with it. Um, and so in 2015, uh, Burger King came out with the Halloween Whopper, which was basically a Whopper, but instead the bun was completely black, so it was like this black encompassed sort of like burger. The only downside, apart from like the bun not tasting great, was that like it made your insides like green and like you'd shit green for like days. So people were like immediately turned off by like this thing that conceptually, you know, not bad. I like it. It's dark, it's different, it's around Halloween, interesting. But then they're like, I don't like what I see here. I got to go see a doctor. So
Wow.
Right.
that's
I
literally one of those what did you eat sort of like I'm eating beets. It should have been made out of like beets as well. So it was like your shit was like green and red, and then you're just like, I don't know what's going on. You're leading up to Christmas, and everything is awful down there.
I I should say Star Wars land, the old one at Disneyland before it
Mm,
became
yeah.
redone. Their food service, the food place there served an all black burger for a while, and it was based around Darth Vader.
Okay. So there's
So
something. I had some sort of cultural memory of this thing, and I was assumed that it was like and I looked it up, and then there was like also a like 2007 Whopper Spider-Man 3 tie-in that had like the dark web burger to tie into like him wearing a black suit where like the sesame seeds were black and the mayo had like cracked pepper in it, and the ketchup had like black flecks in it. So it's like, I don't know, it's just really trying to really force some stuff into you. It seems very
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah, black is not exactly a color I associate with good when it comes to food. There's
Yeah.
very few, even blackberries aren't really black. There are
Mhm.
very few foods where I think I look at and think, you know what? I wish that was blacker. That'd be more appetizing, and I would trust it more if it was more black.
How much more black can it be?
None more black.
I would also think from a food hygiene standpoint that you wouldn't know when to throw that shit away. Like, is this
Good point.
good or yeah? Okay, well, let's do some judging. I'm not hungry right now. Somehow this has not made me hungry. We'll go with mac ribs since you both chose it. I feel compelled to try to find and eat the mac and Cheetos. I don't know if that's good or bad.
All in.
Yeah.
There was such a charming story. I could picture you and your sister at Baskin Robbins with those little tiny little Coke spoons for the baseball nut thing, and then
This
I
is where
gotta
Jeff,
go.
you should go over the top and do your Doritos Loco Taco. Do your own pick, bro.
Doritos Loco Taco, because decade homie, you've been with me for a decade. We've been keeping it real. You've been
Yeah.
trying to keep it together. I don't care if you need a paper coffin to lie down in. Thank you, baby. Doritos Loco. I'm loco for you.
This is the first Jeff pick in like 3.5 years.
Is it really? I'm
It's
loco.
been a while. It's been a while, bro.
Don't you know I'm loco? Is that all? I think it's all.
Yeah.
Okay. This has been the Mount Rushmore of fast food limited run items. We'll see you out on McRib Locator. I am always Jeff.
I'm Richard.
I'm Michael.